So the Bank of England has reduced interest rates to 3.75%, and they could go down to 3.5% by middle of next year. Everyone knows this is good news for mortgage buyers as it increases affordability and makes owning a property cheaper, both for own users and investors who purchase using mortgages. Overall, this is good for the property market. But how does it affect cash buyers looking to buy rental property for passive income without using loans? Most people buying low cost rental property for passive income don't use mortgages. They don't want to have the risks, be in debt or pay interest. For these cash buyers, you would think that the Bank of England interest rate isn't really a big factor, but it is. Today, I'm going to talk about what prevents cash buyers with savings making that final decision to buy a rental property for long-term investment. And we'll cover how lower interest rates can be a major factor in this decision. We discuss the two main ways lower interest rates result in more cash buyers deciding to buy rental property for investment. And please stick with me to the end as we explain the biggest worry such buyers have and how this can be completely removed. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. T and I've been in the property business for almost 50 years. Here's a bit about me. In the 1980s, whilst working as a junior doctor, my hobby was computers and I co-founded one of the UK's largest PC manufacturers with over 3,000 staff. Computer making moved to China, and during the past 17 years, I researched and analysed the UK property market and developed a property business for 100% passive investors, which currently looks after almost 3,000 properties and is now run by my children and over 100 staff. I really enjoy helping people with property investment and making videos like this. Please hit the like button, drop a comment below, subscribe, and hit the bell. Let's get back to the video. Now, there are thousands of people who have money in bank savings who do realize that investment in rental property would be better for them for the long term. They know that unlike financial products and paper investment, property is a tangible physical asset that gives them long-term security. Even if the financial world collapses, the property is still there. It grows in value over the long term, usually better than inflation, and gives good rental income, much higher than savings. But despite knowing this, they do nothing for fear of taking any risk. And they just keep their money in the bank, getting some interest. They know they should act, but they keep putting it off. Following the spike in interest rates from 2021, their savings have been giving slightly higher interest, so they've not acted. But now, with falling interest rates over the past year, they're going to get even lower income on their cash savings, much less than inflation. They realize that doing nothing is a risk, and money in the bank is going to make them poorer. Net rental income from property of 7% is now over 2 or 3 times the interest they get from bank savings. Plus, they have long-term capital growth on the property. So this fall in interest rates triggers them into deciding to use their cash to buy rental property. So the first way lower interest rates makes them buy property is that savings income becomes much lower than property rental income. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time. We publish content every week on UK property investing. Hit the bell and like. It really helps the channel and ensures you're notified when the next video is released. The second reason is linked to the risk of falling property prices. Many such investors have not purchased because they've been worried about the risk of future property prices going down and them losing money. In reality, this is a low risk. So over the long term, property has always risen better than inflation. And now with interest rates falling, the demand for property increases, especially from personal mortgage buyers, resulting in property shortages. This means higher future prices and even lower risk of prices falling. And if they have the money, then buying now will also save them money as future prices will be higher. This is the second factor that helps them make the decision to buy a rental property now. So falling interest rates is an important trigger that encourages those with cash savings to invest in rental property. Finally, the biggest fear factor investors have is dealing with the property maintenance and tenancy issues and taking on the liabilities and risks of the landlord. And now with the Renters' Rights Act, there are indeed more liabilities for landlords to worry about. But this issue is completely removed by them becoming 100% passive investors. They buy the rental property and immediately rent it to a professional company, such as the sponsor of this video, who agrees to become their tenant and takes on every cost and every liability and pays them a fair rent. The company then act as the landlord and sublet to their own tenants to get a higher rent than they pay the owner, and handle all the maintenance, compliance, arrears risks, tenant issues, and all the liabilities under the Renters' Rights Act. Investors simply get the agreed net rent regularly with no surprises and no involvement. The company can do this by being efficient and having processes to reduce all of the landlord costs. And like a letting agent, the company is responsible for paying all the costs, so they work harder to keep these lower. They can thus pay the investor a good net rent, but still cover their costs and be profitable overall. Please watch the short message from our sponsor at the end on how to buy and own such a rental property 100% passively. Thanks for watching.
If you want to invest in property and get 7% net rent, long-term capital growth, no costs or liabilities ever, do nothing yourself, and be living anywhere in the world, then consider Find UK Property. They provide 100% passive investment solutions for long-term income from freehold properties starting at under 80k. You get a property that is affordable, fully renovated, already rented out, contractually guaranteed and productive from day one. You become the owner and rent it back to Find UK Property so that they become your tenants and look after all aspects of the property in a fully compliant way. You never need to deal with tenants, estate agents, or do any property maintenance or repairs, or pay for any costs. Find UK Property look after over 2,500 houses, all of which are sublet to their own tenants. And on average, they get more rent from their tenants than they have to pay the property owners. So that way they can cover all the property costs. Their solutions are great for those wanting to retire on pension-type income or gradually build large property portfolios passively in a tax-efficient manner. Please visit the website at findukproperty.com and speak to a consultant today.